Yes, guys, and welcome to another episode of Chopping It Up with Charms. I'm back here again, giving you all the lowdown, everything Chelsea, everything PL, everything football. But before we get into it, don't forget to like and subscribe. But first of all, it has come out on this lovely morning. This lovely, impeccable morning. Chelsea being done. Sanctioned, 74 fines. 74 differently construed fines. And they range from a 6 or 7 year period from 2009 to around like the 2015 mark, concerning certain undocumented transfers of Samuel Eto'o, what's his name, Eden Hazard, these sort of players. I don't worry about it too much, to be honest. This seems like a Todd Boehly problem. This is the type of thing where you wake up in the morning, you go about your day, and then you see, Chelsea been slapped with sanctions and fines. Typical Chelsea, cheating, da-da-da. It's not that deep. It really isn't. I mean, it's the crime itself, undocumented finances. Yeah, it's not ideal. But as a Chelsea fan, it's not going to be me that's going to be punished or penalised. I mean, this goes back to the Roman Abramovich era of the club, going to do with the Roman Abramovich era of transfers and finances. So it's one of them ones where if there was to be any sanctions on the team as it stands in the here and now, I would be very surprised by that. Especially because of it being a self-report, no Among Us. Like, it seems that Chelsea themselves, Todd Boehly and co, have come forward after buying the club and been like, listen, gone to the UEFA, gone to the FA, and said there's been things not right on the books, and we're coming to flag them, and we're gonna do our best to pay all the sanctions and do everything around that. And at the time, during the due diligence sort of process, just to explain to everyone what's happened, Roman Abramovich was withheld 100 million by Todd Boehly for the final sale, just in case shit like this popped up, and of course it did. So that is the money that is being spent to kind of paper the cracks, if you will. It is frustrating. Mostly because I don't like the whole cheating Chelsea narrative, along with many other narratives that have been painted out about my club. But that one is one of them ones where, we get such a hard time about it, but then Man City can go and literally just cakewalk a league in the same season that they're being done for financial breaches, and then they just get all the right lawyers and pay off all the right people. They keep their mouth nice and closed, and because of that, they don't get any punishment. It just goes to show that there is a biases with the FA, in my personal opinion. And I feel like the minute that Chelsea are involved, everyone likes to, particularly the media, they like to flag it all up in the air and make a million stories about it, even though in the end of the day, this is pretty minor and irrelevant. I can't see there being a penalisation on points or anything like that, mainly because, it's going to damage the fans who haven't had anything to do with it, the club at the minute as it stands, who haven't had anything to do with it. In fact, not only have they not had anything to do with it, the only reason why it's being known is because of the current ownership of the club. And if it wasn't for their sort of transparency and their honesty, we wouldn't be in this situation. We'd probably get there eventually, but it would just be another game of cat and mouse. And it's been very professional the way it's all been handled. So listen, I've had my gripes with Boehly. Dan's had his gripes with Boehly. Most Chelsea fans have, to be totally honest. But as things stand now, I think that we've done the right thing, and I think that that's exactly what we have to do going forward, is just continue to just do the right thing, be honest about the accounting books during a dodgier period of our club, and crack on with it. But enough about Chelsea. I want to talk about England. England! I ain't talking politics. We could do that, but that's on a different channel on a different day. A week ago, everyone was crying, saying that the results against Albania, against Andorra, they're not good enough, 1-0 here, 2-0 here, 2-0 here, 3-0 here, 1-0 here. I'm not mad. We haven't conceded a single goal. I mean, honestly, people say that we haven't looked amazing going forward. We haven't let the game be out of our paces for 6 or 7 games. Yeah, we lost one to like Senegal or something really early doors. Thomas Tuchel, might have been even his first game. But ever since then, it's been a fortress of solitude at the back. It's been an absolute defensive masterclass. And, you go back a couple of days ago, who was it against? Was it one of them? It was like one of the Slovak countries, I'm pretty sure. And we just absolutely dismembered them 5-0. Unfortunately, the only person I put onto bloody bag was Morgan Rogers. Every single person around him bagged. But it was nice to just see that England team hold down 85, 88% of the possession. And I won't lie, it was a hard watch. Even though it was the best of the games that we had played with the amount of goals we scored, it was a lot of sideways football. It was a lot of relying on corners and set pieces in general. I thought Declan Rice looks fantastic off of a corner. I mean, he took about 13 in that game and 8 of them were deadly balls over the top. But it's nice to just see the small things, like both the centre-halves getting on the score sheet with good headers, and the way that we attack those corners, I think, is really effective. I think Thomas Tuchel's figured out how he wants to play set pieces and who his set piece takers are. And I think now it's just about solidifying the squad that you want to bring with you to the World Cup. No question we're going through to the World Cup. I mean, I don't think it's even mathematically possible to slip up from here. But once again, where I saw every single person online crying about, yeah, but is this good enough about the level of competition that we're playing against? We didn't choose to not be in a group with Germany and Spain. We didn't pussy out of playing against big teams. We just were not put in a pot with these bigger sides. So you can't really complain about not playing the hard competition, because when you've scored 15 goals and conceded none across 5 games, all you can do is sit and smile. That's what I've been doing anyways. And I said that before the 5-0 routing. And I got a bit of a hard time about it, to be totally frank, at work. People saying, yeah, but realistically, like when you look at it, like I was off and I was watching the game and it was just boring. It was a hard watch. Yeah, well, the exact same type of football is going to happen in the World Cup, and then all of a sudden, because the stakes are high, you understand it, It's one of them ones. The way I looked at it was when Thomas Tuchel won the Champions League with Chelsea, there were certain results across the group stage and even early in the knockouts where you're thinking, there's no way that this side win the Champions League. There's no way that this side is the best side in the world. But for every game that we would draw 1-0, draw 1-1 or win 1-0 or win 2-1, but it wasn't convincing. There was a game against Man City where we win 1-0 and it's the same level of, it doesn't look convincing. But because the level of opposition is perceived above ours, the fact we're playing the exact same type of football against them is just substantially more impressive. I think that the consistency that Thomas Tuchel is able to lay down in the matches, regardless of opposition, it is something. And then the minute that it gets called into question, like, are you able to bag more than 2 goals, more than 3 goals? He goes and bags 5. And 2-0 up at half time, I was thinking this is in the bag. So the second half is probably going to be a little bit more boring. But no, we continue to try and press. We won corners that we scored off of again in the second half. Even the substitutions were pretty progressive, bringing on players like Marcus Rashford, so we could get those minutes when I think we were 3 or 4-0 up at that point. 4-0, because I'm pretty sure he bagged the 5th. And just like, pulling off Harry Kane, because we've seen enough of him, and he had scored and he had been doing that Harry Kane drop back and just playing the game that he likes to play. I think that overall, England are looking bloody sharp, and although it might not be the type of football you need to beat a Spain or a Germany or a France or a Brazil, hey, listen, let's see. Because once again, I've seen Thomas Tuchel pull out results against big teams with tactical genius. And I think that that's what it's going to take to beat these other sides. These sides like Spain that will hit you fast and hard on the counter. It's reminiscent of the way that Man City were playing, when they were playing that really tight, tic-tac, compressed football. And Chelsea found a way to just beat them on the break, lose 70% of the possession, barely a much of the ball, and when we do get it, pop and counter. And I feel like that's what it's going to take against certain teams, where at other times we can be a little bit more liberal and a bit more free-flowing and play the Jack Grealishes and the Phil Foden, so we're going to want to take it to defenders. But you know what? As things stand, I'm not mad. I'm really not mad. I think that England, although maybe it's rich to say we have a chance winning the World Cup at this point, I think that we definitely are a lot better than particularly a lot of home fans are talking about. And I'm quite frankly sick of the narrative that England aren't good enough to do anything in an international tournament. Because, you know, I know Italy haven't had a great time, but they've conceded 4 against Israel. And I'm not really going to talk too tough on that because I'm not trying to get executed. But for you to be involved in a 9-goal thriller against Israel, you know, there's other countries with substantially bigger problems than us who are going to try and find a way into that World Cup that if we were to play against, you know, the casual layman would say, there's no chance. England got a chance to beat Italy, where they don't know, quite frankly, what they're talking about. That's been my TED Talk. Up the England, up the Chelsea, on the sanctions. It doesn't affect us. We won't be getting a point deduction. England are going to make it into the World Cup in America. Honestly, I wanted to go to the World Cup in America, but with everything going on in the world, I don't think I really want to anymore. But as I said, I'm not going to make it political because this is about football. It's all about love. And in the end of the day, love wins. God bless. Chopping out with charms, man. I'm out of here, bro. Can't believe I spoke politics on this channel.